right, hey there everyone, and good Wednesday evening to you. Thanks for joining me here on Facebook, on YouTube, Twitter, and on the Storm Tracker 21 app as well. Wherever you're watching this video tonight, thanks for tuning in. We're going to talk about our overnight weather, the timing of precipitation, the type of precipitation, potential impacts on the roads, not only tonight, but for your morning commute on Thursday. Let's start out this evening with a live look outside here at 7:28. This is in Columbia, and of course along the traffic circle. And while right around the circle it looks okay, you can tell that we're starting to get some accumulation on some of the less traveled surfaces, and certainly on the sidewalks and on those non-paved surfaces. We're starting to see some light accumulation as well. It's been snowing for a little while here in Columbiana, although it's fairly light for the time being. Let's head up the road to Boardman along 224 and Market Street. Very busy intersection, and everything looks just damp here. It's snowing real lightly. This is nothing all that heavy yet. It's going to get a little heavier, I think, as we go into mid-evening, but for now, the intensity of the snow is something that we can handle this for the time being. Again, we'll talk a little bit more about the expectations going forward momentarily. Temperature-wise, we're right around the freezing mark, or even a little bit above freezing. 32 Columbiana, 34 Boardman, 33 in Warren, 32 in Sandy Lake. Down in Wellsville, closer to the Ohio River, it's also around 32 or 33 degrees. Air temperatures and road temperatures will be an important factor tonight. We're not going to see Arctic air pushing in tonight. It's not going to drop far below freezing overnight, down to about 30 on average. And that will help the treatment on the roads. Road treatment, very, very effective when it's not super cold outside. When it's closer to freezing, that treatment can be very effective. Now, it's hard to really distinguish across our area where it's snowing lightly and a little bit heavier this evening. It all just kind of looks like a sea of blue, right? Well, we had a dry layer of air not far above our heads this afternoon that prevented the snow from reaching the ground initially in a lot of places. In fact, I wouldn't even be surprised if this is still Virga from say 422 on north in Trumbull County and into parts of Mercer County as well, especially north of Interstate 80. A little bit of this might be reaching the ground, but the farther north you are, a lot of this is probably still evaporating before actually making it to the ground. But this is legit snow that's falling in most of Mahoning and Lawrence counties, down into Columbiana County as well, and you can see some deeper blues starting to emerge back towards Carroll County, Tuscarawas County, parts of Stark County as well, where the snow is starting to pick up in intensity. Now, looking off to the south, this is what we'll be watching closely this evening, the rain-snow line, or the rain-snow mix line, creeping to the north. We're starting to see just plain old rain in a place like Cambridge, all this bright banding, all this stuff back here. This looks like super heavy rain, right? South of Columbus. Well, that's bright echo returns, probably a result of a lot of sleet that's falling across areas around and south of I-70 near the Columbus area. Closer to home, yeah, the mixing line is getting farther north. It's up into like the Steubenville area now. Wheeling probably starting to pick up a little bit of sleet, and it's not going to be too much longer before I think you're going to start hearing some sleet pellets down towards the Ohio River, down towards East Liverpool. Right now, this is a specialty radar product. This is called the correlation coefficient. This is a kind of a fancy radar product. In severe weather season, we use this to try to find perhaps debris being wafted by tornadoes, something we don't see much of around here, but it's used by meteorologists for that purpose in severe weather season. In the winter weather season, this particular product can be real useful in determining where we're seeing uniform precipitation, in other words, all rain or all snow, or kind of a mixed bag. When the colors on this radar picture are all kind of uniform looking, that means that everything is falling as one type of precipitation. The radar beam is hitting things that are all roughly the same size. When the radar beam starts hitting things of different sizes in the atmosphere, some snow pellets, some snowflakes, a couple of raindrops, things like that, then the product returns a noisier signal. You start getting these yellowish colors. And so, as you can see, we're starting to see some of that just to the south of Columbiana County already here at 7:32. So by 8 o'clock or so, I think we're going to probably start hearing some sleet pinging on windows down towards Glenmore, Calcutta, La Crosse, East Liverpool, Salineville as well. Here's our high-res futurecast showing us what the radar should look like going forward. By 9 o'clock, it'll probably be snowing pretty good in Mahoning County, Trumbull County, Mercer County, Lawrence County as well, northern parts of Columbiana. But by 9 o'clock, kind of a rain, snow, sleet mix closer to Route 30 and points south in Columbiana County. And then as we roll forward through the evening, that mixing line will continue creeping to the north, and I think we're going to start seeing some sleet and some rain as far north as 224 by about 10 o'clock or so, maybe 10:30. Now, as we head into the overnight, the rain may never get into northern Trumbull and far northern Mercer counties. It's going to be a close call. You might still have some sleet up here, closer to Mesopotamia, Kinsman, the Route 87 corridor over to Greenville and Mercer. Might have a snow-sleet mix, but it may never change to rain there. Therefore, snow amounts may actually be a little bit higher there. I'll show you the map in just a second. But boy, once you get down to I-80 and points south, this is going to turn into just kind of a sloppy, wintry mix, if not just straight rain for a time overnight, and that's going to wipe out a fair amount of the accumulations that occur over the next few hours. Now, as we head towards tomorrow morning, the all-important morning commute for Thursday morning, stop the clock here a little before 4 a.m. By this point, precipitation will be quite light. If it's still snowing in parts of Trumbull and Mercer, it's probably pretty light at this point. This is probably some sort of a light rain or drizzle that's falling elsewhere, and temperatures will be right around 30, 31, 32. So technically this may be some freezing drizzle. Now, freezing rain, freezing drizzle is never something we like to see or like to talk about, but I doubt this is all that impactful. Maybe there's a glaze of ice in some spots. I don't expect a thick ice accumulation or anything like that, but maybe there's a little glaze on your windshield tomorrow morning and on some of the colder surfaces. That's going to be a possibility. But I think for the most part, Thursday morning's commute is going to be relatively problem-free. I don't want to say it's going to be great, but we're not going to be seeing much impactful weather at all during the commute. If we have residual slick spots from overnight, best chances for that will be the farther north you are, and maybe a few slick spots try to develop due to the freezing drizzle. Now, every third comment on my Facebook page over the last day or so has been, hey, are we going to have school on Thursday? And I can't keep up with all the comments while I'm doing this live video, but I suspect there's some school comments in there as well. And folks, I don't know. You know, it's one of those things. I can tell you all about the weather and the forecast and how I expect road conditions to be, but I can't predict what school districts are going to do. I really just don't know. I can tell you that there's not going to be much impactful weather in the area at rush hour tomorrow morning. Temperatures will be right around 30. Road treatment will be pretty effective, and then we're going to have rain and mixed precipitation in a lot of spots. So I'm optimistic that we're not going to have a real troublesome morning commute on Thursday, but what your school district decides to do, I'm the wrong guy to ask. I really, honestly, just don't have any idea. All right, I'll get out of the way here and show you this graphic, kind of an overview of potential impacts tonight through tomorrow. Highest road impacts over the next several hours, so probably up through midnight or so, with the snow and eventually the mixed precipitation. The impacts from snow decrease overnight. A little increase in the mixed precipitation impacts, and again, especially if we see some freezing drizzle here and there. And then during the day tomorrow, probably not much more than passing flurries. You'll notice I have the impacts perhaps going up a little bit as we head towards evening. As our Arctic front pushes in, there could be some beefier snow showers that try to develop, giving us some small additional accumulations, and even though accumulations would be pretty modest, probably under an inch, with it coming at rush hour, and temperature starting to cool, maybe there's some minor impacts with late day snow showers on Thursday. This is the Arctic front, and behind this front, believe it or not, this is the coldest air mass of the entire winter. It took us until Valentine's Day to get the coldest weather of the season, and sometimes when we have cold weather at this time of the year, of course, it lasts for days. This is not going to be that situation. This is one day, 24 hours or so. Really cold Thursday night, really cold Friday, really cold Friday night, and then the turnaround is going to be rapid over the weekend. So Friday, high pressure builds in, mix of sun and clouds, and actually I think it'll be a bright and sunny start to the weekend Saturday morning with some clouds later on, and with a gusty breeze, we'll go from the single digits early Saturday morning to the mid-30s. We'll pick up 30 degrees in the afternoon. And just a reminder, when we talk about snow accumulations, going back to the short term here, this is not a one-size-fits-all forecast. For instance, here's our model spread down towards East Liverpool, where we're going to start seeing some sleet probably within the hour. Snow accumulations pretty much are going to be an inch or less down towards East Liverpool in the southeastern part of Columbiana County. You'll hop up into the middle of our TV viewing area, and for Warren, Niles, Girard, down into Mahoning County, southern Mercer County, Lawrence County, kind of the heart of our TV viewing area, there's going to be a lot of places that probably get 2 or 3 or maybe even 3.5 wet inches of snow before a lot of that gets eroded by the mixed precipitation that will take over before the evening's through. But we could see a few inches in a few hours, meaning our snowfall rates will be pretty impressive, I think, by about mid-evening. Right now, the rates are not that impressive, but 9, 10 o'clock, it could be thumping pretty good, I think, in Youngstown and Boardman and Poland and Canfield and surrounding areas. So here's the snow map showing a pretty good swath of 3 to 6, encompassing a lot of northwest PA, Cleveland, down to Akron, Mansfield. I think 6 is pretty much out of reach in our TV viewing area, but I'm not going to be surprised if some places get 4 or 4.5, where you have limited mixing from Newton Falls and Warren and Cortland on north in Trumbull County, and north of Sharon, closer to Greenville and Mercer County. Yeah, 4, 4.5, it's going to be a possibility up there. Again, I think 6 is off the table, but yeah, a little more than 3 is going to be a possibility up there where you have less mixing, and even if you do have some mixing, it may not go to just straight rain and start wiping out a lot of the accumulations that far to the north. Otherwise, it's 1, 2, 3 inches or so in a lot of our TV viewing area. It's probably closer to an inch down here in southeastern Columbiana County, and enough to cause some travel disruptions for a time this evening. And again, the temperatures, big story for the end of the week. Daytime highs in the teens for the only time this winter coming our way on Friday. We have not had a calendar day with a high temperature failing to get above 20 yet this winter, but we're going to have it on Friday. And then Friday night, Saturday morning, coldest morning of the season so far, and more than likely the coldest morning we'll have until next winter, because I don't see much cold coming in the pattern in the longer range. So with a clear sky, if the wind goes calm, that'll be the big factor. If the wind goes totally calm Friday night, Saturday morning, I can see where there's a 0 here and there as Saturday gets underway. Now, if we have a little bit of a breeze that stays at 5 or 6 miles per hour, that'll be enough to prevent temperatures from really bottoming out. I do think the sky will be clear enough for temperatures to drop pretty nicely Friday night. So, a lot of people going out on date night Friday evening for Valentine's Day. Again, afternoon highs 18, dinner time temperatures Friday evening, probably about 14, 15 degrees. It is going to be cold, that is for sure. All right, before I leave you this evening, let's back up my graphics to the current radar, and for those just joining us, do a little recap of what we've talked about on this video. Thanks again for joining me this evening. The radar shows, there we go. Snow is falling. Right now it's steadiest and heaviest from roughly Route 62 on south and west towards Canton. It's going to thump pretty hard for a few hours across our area this evening before a transition over to kind of a snow-sleet mix, a rain-sleet mix, and then even just rain for a time in a lot of our area late this evening into the overnight. I'm expecting maybe some patches of freezing drizzle early in the day Thursday, but I don't think the commute, the rush hour period, is going to be filled with impactful weather Thursday morning. A lot of wet roads, maybe some slushy roads here and there, especially residential streets, less traveled areas. And it's just going to be an overcast day with some leftover flurries for the most part on Thursday. I'm, of course, going to keep you updated. I post more stuff than anyone else when it comes to weather information for our area. And so you can look for that on Facebook and Twitter this evening. Give me a follow on Instagram, too, while you're at it. I'm Eric WFMJ on Twitter and on Instagram, and we'll be pushing those push notifications, those alerts, on the Storm Tracker 21 app as needed this evening and overnight. Hope you'll join me tonight for a full update on the TV side if you're up late. Of course, 21 News right at 11 p.m. All right.